I don't think anybody signed up to be a single parent,
No
right? Me and my significant other, and at that point in time, we was together. We had everything that I ever wanted. We was working on us a big old house, and just to make life just be the most beautiful thing it is,
The American
right?
dream, right?
Oh my God. Okay. We had it set up. It was right. And then life happens, right? I had the opportunity to take on a position, and guess what? He was like, take this. This is what the alternative is. I became a single mom shortly after. Not to mention he was living a double life.
Wow.
Welcome back. We are on the second episode of Dad on Fire. I am sitting here with my lovely host, Nikki Ferguson. Say what's up, Nikki.
Hey, hey.
And this episode, we are speaking to the moms out there. We want you to understand Dad. So we have two subject matter experts here. The episode is called The Single Motherhood Perspective. All right. So I wanted to steal your thunder, but I'm going to allow you to introduce yourself.
Hey, y'all. It's your girl, Renee. Y'all know me as the multi-stream income woman and the people's champ.
The People's Champ. All right.
You're right.
And I am Cherece. I am the owner of True Med Test Mobile Diagnostic Clinic here in Rockford. And I am happy to be here.
Happy
Awesome.
to have you.
So we just had an amazing conversation a minute ago. It feels so much different when the lights go on, right?
Yes.
I mean,
It was just natural. So
Right.
we did
Yeah.
good. We did good.
we had a podcast before the podcast.
Right.
So I'm happy to be here. I am looking forward to just unpacking how it feels on your side, right? Your side of the perspective when it comes to raising a young man or woman, and also the engagement with a father, especially if he's outside of the home, right? So that's a different dynamic. So story about myself. My first son was born out of wedlock, and the mom and I, decided to separate. But one of the things that we tried to do the best we could was to raise our son together, right? To co-parent. And so even though we had our trials and difficulties and disagreements for over a decade, to be honest with you, one of the things we did agree with is that we have to raise our son together, no matter what that looked like. So in Fatherhood United, we believe in maximum participation, period. So regardless of what happened, if he can only be around, if it's only good for that child for him to be around once a month, that could be it, right? If it's good for him to be around once a week, 3 times a week, split half the time, 75%, whatever that is.
Whatever works.
That's what we believe in.
Yes.
Okay. And so I wanted to, I want to be real transparent about that because every situation is different.
Yeah. So
What we want to do, we want to talk about how single mothers experience fatherhood, right? Because you're actually, in some cases, and I hate to say it like this, but some cases you're trying to fill the role sometimes in the absence. Like my father died when I was 12 years old. My mom tried her best to fill that role, but ultimately she's not my dad,
No way.
yeah.
right? Yeah. And so we're gonna ask some questions.
Yes, bring them on.
Ask some questions.
Okay.
I'm a question guy. I like to heat them up.
Yes.
I like to heat them up. Nikki, you want to go first, or you want me to take it?
Of course. I'm so glad y'all here. I appreciate y'all. Just love, just being able to answer the call. No questions asked, because I know both of you guys are just pillars in the community, and anything that y'all can do or say to be impactful, y'all gonna do it.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Hands
Most
down.
definitely.
So I just, again, appreciate you guys coming. But I wanted to ask some hard questions.
Throw them at us.
So with this episode about being a single mom, what toll has it taken on you when you found out you had to be both the mom and a dad?
I can jump in for that.
Go ahead.
I want to say, first and foremost, I don't think anybody signed up to be a single parent,
No.
right? Me and my significant other, and at that point in time, we was together. We had everything that I ever wanted. We was working on us a big old house, and just to make life just be the most beautiful thing it is,
The American
right?
dream, right?
Oh my God. Okay. We had it set up. It was right. And then life happens, right? I had the opportunity to take on a position, and guess what? He was like, take this. This is what the alternative is. I became a single mom shortly after. Not to mention he was living a double life.
Wow.
When I realized he was living a double life, you had two options: either stay and deal with it, or take the other road.
Right.
Not realizing the impact that it would have on my son and him not being in his life, right? Because I'm thinking, man, listen, if I move away, I don't have to deal with that situation. I know he's going to still be in my child's life. And that was not the case. It became estranged, right? But not one time have I really told my son, like, your dad ain't never been there. It was a time in which Christmas come, his dad, like, I'm gonna buy my baby a drum set.
Right.
And guess what? That drum set never came. But guess what? Mama showed up every time for that drum set.
Right, yeah,
so everything that you promised my child, our child, Mama made sure she did whatever she could to provide for that. So being a mom, single mom, is the most difficult because you have to wear so many hats.
Yes.
The man is known as the financial person typically, right?
Right.
In some cases, the provider, he's the safety net of the family. Now you have to become the nurturer. You have to be the mom, the dad. You wearing so many hats. At what point in time do you get tired? And it wasn't until I met my husband that I became no longer the mom and the dad. I had to find a balance when I was so used to just being it all.
Gotcha. You had to like digress.
Oh my God.
From
No,
being
and I
that.
was like, no, this is my title. This is mine. I'm like the hawk, right?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's difficult because you're wearing so many hats. And to be honest, most women are meant to wear all those hats.
No.
The man is supposed to be there to help and be, as a woman, be the helpmate to the family. And at that point in time, I was doing it all. I was mowing out that mowing grass and everything else.
Right.
Teaching my son how to play football. You know what I mean?
How did it impact you mentally though?
Mentally, I mean, it's tough. Like, it's times when I want to give up, but I know I had to look at my son. I wrote a song called Human. I want to give up, but I'm in a world of kryptonites. But I take one look at my son, then I realize I got to go on and I got to keep on fighting. It's times when I was homeless, like literally ready to give in, but every time I had to fight for my baby.
Absolutely.
So in the end, it's difficult mentally, physically, emotionally. It's draining.
Yeah.
No one should have to deal with it, but also realize at that point in time, there's some choices I could have made differently that could have set my son up for success. My mom was a single mom. Her mom was a single mom. I was hoping I was going to break that vicious cycle of life.
Right.
But the truth is,
we all do.
the truth is,
Right.
is the hand that I've dealt with it. But also what I wanted to show my son was the beauty of a man, a real man. And I mean a man that's strong in nature, that's respectful. So it's very important that I find a man that's able to deliver that when it comes down to my son.
Absolutely.
I wanted him to see a man for real, not a man that say they're a man. I wanted a man that live in his truth.
Right.
That good, bad, and the ugly.
The presence of him.
Oh, yes.
So good. Yeah.
Yes.
So I noticed that you said, so I always tell my son, an object in motion tends to stay in motion. And unfortunately, especially when you're dealing in our culture, when you want to go down to the root of it, who's totally been disconnected as a household for hundreds of years, right? I'm just talking to, my African descendants that are listening right now. So when that culture has been disconnected for hundreds of years, where the man has potentially been removed from the home, right, purposefully, right, and maybe the owner is coming and taking the woman, and the man can't do anything. You understand what I'm saying? So if you told me your mom and dad could sing, I would believe you. We would believe her, right?
Of course.
That means that her mom and dad were able to pass that down to her, right? Yeah. If you said, well, maybe you hoop. You're like, well, I hooped. He said, well, I know you dance. So if you were like, my mom and dad could dance too. Or my great-grandmother danced too. It's not a mystery to me that you can dance.
Right.
So if you can pass good traits down, how come you can't pass down trauma?
Yes.
So I like to peel things back because what we're talking about right now is a symptom. Showing up. This man is disconnected. He left. He's estranged, like you said. But why did that happen? So object in motion tend to stay in motion, right? So you said my mom was a single mom, right? My son's mother's. Let me get that right. My son's mother's daughter, who is a daughter that I raised till she was about 13. With my son. Even when I was getting my son, I was picking her up too.
At the same time.
Because she chose to call me dad. So I was like, until she stopped, I'm gonna get her every day.
Yeah.
Right?
But
So I'm
nobody
getting
had to
both
make
of
you
them.
do that. Though,
Nobody
right?
made me do that.
Exactly.
You know, there's no child support nothing come from
Yep.
a kid that ain't biologically yours.
Yeah.
You just gotta find a way to feed them when you got to. You gotta find a way to put gas in the car, go pick her up.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? She needs something, she know to call me. So, but she was a teen mom. You see what I'm saying? And let me say that right. She's right outside of it. She's a young mother. But then her mom was a teen mom. You see what I'm saying? And so object of motion tend to stay in motion. And so how do we, if we can really understand that together, I mean man and woman, I think if we can start to talk about that, understand that together, we can fix those things. You know what I'm saying? Because one thing I'm big on is communication.
Me too.
You know, like the things we say, you know, how they cut. You know, communication, because you can belt out a tune and make people cry.
In a
Yeah,
heartbeat.
Literally
in
make
a
them cry.
heartbeat.
Because they'll go into a whole nother mode and you're like,
Yeah.
man, this is amazing. It's an amazing gift. So imagine how much worse your words can be if used the right way.
Yeah.
You know, so I think in our home, at one point, the African American home specifically, because all homes are, I mean, father absence is prevalent in all cases.
Yes.
White, black, Hispanic, whatever. But specifically in our culture, we were there.
Yeah.
In the 50s and 60s, we was
Yes.
literally there. Like we was there. 20s,
actual
30s,
family.
40s, 50s.
Yes.
As soon as it was like, you know what? You don't have to leave this house and go work and almost risk your life to walk up the street and stuff like that. When we was safer, the safer we got, the more we stayed together.
Yeah.
But then it was a certain point, I think, that we just honestly just started to want to assimilate so much into culture that we wound up taking
On that ourselves.
on that ourselves. You know, divorce. We were like, man, we didn't know about divorce. You know what I'm saying? So people, American culture, just period, just started
Yes.
peeling
Yes.
away.
Yeah.
Before-
Feminism, all of that.
Everything just
Yeah.
kicks in. So it's a lot that goes into how we got here. But we
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, we're here.
We are definitely here. You know, we're definitely here. I have friends with 10 children, multiple women. I have watched them go from being absent to the last 4 when their life got different. Guess when they with the one woman. Now they with the last 4 or 3 children. And those 4 or 3 children are rock stars. I'm talking about college.
They're solid.
Yeah.
They solid.
Solid.
They done finally figured it out.
Yeah.
They solid.
But
Football.
it's unfair though.
Yeah.
It is.
It's not fair.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to father one and you're going to be a dad to that child and a father to that child, then you need to be a father and a dad to the rest of your children, despite your relationship, despite your circumstances or whatever. Because if there's a will, there's a way. So you made that bed and you need to lie in it, and because the kids did not ask to be here. I don't care if it's 10, 5, or 1.
Right. That's deep.
It's
Yeah.
because
I
it's
think
just
too,
not
in
fair.
that area, we as women got to do a better job with
Selecting.
as well as keeping that that door open without, what should I say, stipulations, I guess, lack of a better word. I think sometimes, not all the time, but I think sometimes we play a negative role in that part with pushing the man away from the kids. To a certain extent, I do.
I say a real man is going to be there for their kids because they know that's their foundation. That's a part of them. But what I struggle with is oftentimes in homes, and this brings back to your side, to what you were getting ready to say too, and I can feel it in your heart, sis. It's oftentimes we create an environment that doesn't allow men to be a part
That's
of their
it.
kids' lives, which limits their ability to do it. Literally watched somebody on Facebook the other day say, I have to step back for my own graces. But I know my baby know what my heart is. And for me, that's really touched deep. I'm sitting here saying like, man, this man is wanting to be a part of these kids' life, his kids' life. But you're creating a notion where like he can get locked up
All
because he's
that,
not
yeah.
wanting to be
Yes.
with you and things of that nature. So I think we got to do a better job with if creating a space for our kids, because at the end of the day, it's not about the kid. It ain't about each other.
No.
It's about these kids. And I think that's where I struggle with them. It's like, okay, you guys you can have your beef. You don't like who he with, but guess what? Ain't about y'all. It's about these babies. It's
Right.
about the future.
Yeah.
It's about your kids. How is it going to impact them when they get 18 and 20 years old? How are they going to be with their kids because they saw the trauma that was filled with you and mama?
Yeah.
Come on, Dad, do better. And we don't know the impact that it has on our kids. I was a part of domestic violence one time. And to this day, it still impact my child. Them seeing that little piece. So just imagine what it's like not having a mom or dad in the household and the impact that's going to have with those kids.
Yeah.
That's that trauma that we got to do better on.
Yeah, and I think circling back to what Cherece was saying, and then back to what TC said, doing better, being having an open door policy for either the whoever is absent, the mom or the dad. It needs to be the child be the main focus of why we need to be civil. We ain't got to be best friends. We ain't got to get along, but we need to be civil about what is in best interest for the child. Just like TC said, with him and his son's mom, they did what was best in the interest for their son. And as a result of that, guess who else got that
Stepkids.
impact? Her other daughter. And look what she got. She got the dad. She got his presence. She got his time. She got the love of a man who set the bar high
and showed literally in real time what it's like to have a man in your life and how to
be treated.
Yes, definitely set the stage. I know with my son, it was some abuse in that relationship, and despite of that, I felt when you were talking, what's the most challenging part of raising a son is being able to swallow all of that trauma, swallow all of that
that you dealt with,
with, and put your child on the forefront and say, hey, in spite of that, I still have to figure out a way to trust that you have my son's interest at heart, that's the primary, in spite of there's no trust there, right? Because you done been through a whole traumatic experience. So to be able to find it within yourself to push that aside and push your son to the front and say, hey, regardless of what you and I went through, how can we move forward to where he has the best options and the best possibility, the best sound relationship with both of us.
Yeah, that foundation.
That foundation.
Yeah.
Because just because he's living with me, right? I've seen in some of my friends' relationships where they can't get over the trauma, or, it's suppressed in certain ways, but it comes out in other ways. And you're thinking that, you have a full-time job, you bring home a good income, you're giving your kids a good life, but I see later on down the road where that child has an issue with mom
because something is lacking.
Something is lacking, or maybe there's a gap there that's not being filled. It could be not being able to communicate with the dad, not seeing the dad. Even if you have a stepfather in the home, the child still wants to be with their daddy. Period.
Which is a good
They want to
thing.
know.
Yeah, which is a very good
They
thing.
want to know where the
the foundation,
Yeah,
where's that
absolutely.
foundation
Absolutely.
is.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What's making me, why I like the color blue, where do I get my athletic skills from? Who am I getting this for? Why I'm mad? Like, they want to identify with that, and they can't identify as a man. My son couldn't identify that with me, Mom. I get my smarts from you, but what do I get from my dad? That was the question, and I'm like, baby, how can I tell you? I don't know. And that was a trigger for me. Like, man, I wish I could have done better.
Yeah.
And which made me pick up the phone and like, hey, here's the pictures of your son. So even though you're absent, I'm still gonna hit you up and say, here's how your son doing. It takes a lot of pride out of me. My husband's like, can you please stop? Like, hoping that one day, but also knowing that in due time, when the time is right, sounds crazy, I know that I've done my part.
Yeah.
It's going to be up to him to do his part. You know what I mean?
And I think also, like, going back again to TC, I'm sorry, that being proactive.
Yes,
You know,
absolutely.
everybody can't be a parent, You know, especially when, you know, you have a child and then the mom has another child, and then, you know, some men like, well, that ain't my child. I ain't taking her. I ain't talking, you know, I'm taking my own. I'm not going to, this not fair.
It's not.
But if you have the ability to do that, why not? Because that's your child's sibling. You know, why wouldn't you want to show your child, you know, I know this is not my child, but this is your sister. And I'm going to keep y'all together regardless of what it looks like. Because it just develops that trust, that
village,
everything that you
all
need.
of that, yeah.
And I think also going back to that is that when you have that relationship where you can swallow that, or that faith, I'm going to say, to swallow all that hurt and that trauma and that whatever you went through, and not pour it out onto your child in the presence of the child. Now he don't have this preconceived notion of what my dad is.
No, I've learned how to communicate having a son.
Okay.
I've learned how to, you know, I thought I was able to communicate with my daughter, but I soon saw that men process things entirely different than girls, than boys, than women. And I've just completely learned how to communicate more effectively. Like, I talk to my son just like how we sitting here talking. This is what we do.
Yeah.
And we were doing this young, because hollering, he doesn't respond to that. It's like oil and water. It's just, he's not.
Is he triggered by it?
He's not necessarily triggered by it, but I just know that when you, as a single mother, you should be seeing behavior, mannerisms, and he's not going to speak a lot, but his body language spoke loud enough for me to realize, like, this is
something
not,
off.
I can't,
Something's wrong.
Yeah, I can't communicate with him how my mama communicated with all of us. No shame to mama. My mama did a really good job raising us.
Clean it up.
Clean it up
in case she's listening.
I had 3 brothers and I'm the only girl, but he's just different. You know, he's different. And I saw it. When I started to just, hey, you know, I don't like that, right? We're going to do something different.
So you talk to him, not at him.
No, I talk to him. I make him communicate back to me. Oh, Mom, I'm sorry. Okay, what are you sorry about?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? You know, we have a
Talk
dialogue. Yes.
Yeah. Why are you sorry is more important.
Why
than
are you
just saying
sorry?
you're sorry?
Yes. And I see the fruits of that labor, because now he's 17 and he has no problem. Hey, I can be in the middle of a meeting. I can be upstairs conversating with my mom. If he has something serious going on, hey, can I talk to you in private? Oh, okay, sure. We go in private.
I need to sit you down. I don't like
down.
what you did last week. I think we need to talk about that.
and it could be something that he's struggling
why
with
are
in
you
school.
sorry?
Yeah. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I'm starting to feel like, am I on punishment here?
Right.
But, you know, it'll be something that's bothering him. But it makes me feel good to know, as a single mom raising a son, that he feels comfortable sharing with me, being transparent with me, and knowing that it's a safe space.
Safe space, absolutely.
That's like probably my most proudest moments of being a single mom, because you really don't know if you're reaching your kids all the time.
Yeah, no.
You know, you really don't know. It's just moments like that where it's like you can exhale. Like,
right. It's coming full circle.
It's coming full circle.
So you have a boy and a girl. Okay.
And he's my youngest.
Okay. Yeah. So what challenges have you faced? And I really want to hear. I have a 13-year-old daughter, so now things are getting different.
Yeah.
I came in yesterday and she was just crying. I said, "Why are you crying?" I don't know. I said, I don't know either, but I want you to stop. But I don't know what to say to make you stop. Can I give you a hug? And hugs feel awkward now.
Yeah.
Hugs it went from this to
Yeah.
Right. So what challenges have you faced that you wish you had the father in the picture to really help with?
With my son?
Yeah.
You took my question.
And with both. With both.
I would say, right off the top of my head, he had a conflict at school. It was, him into an altercation with another student at school, and I immediately saw that as a mom, your kids boys will receive you consulting them, but to a certain point. At a certain point, I saw that he was like, no, you just telling me this because you just mama. You know what I mean? And I instantly saw like, man, I wish his dad was here. And I actually told him, I said, call your dad. Because at that moment, in the heat of that moment, he needed the masculinity, and I could feel it, I can sense it, the voice, I can hear it, because he was really upset, and he was like, okay, look, I don't need no sweet talking and woo, big sweet baby, I want my dad's voice because I just need to hear it. He didn't say those words, but I can see it in his body language. I can see that nothing I said consulted him. He just needed that manly voice, and I knew for sure. I'm like, okay, call your dad. See what your dad have to say about the situation and how you should handle it. And even if you handled it the best way, and moving forward, what would he recommend?
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Because to hammer everything is a nail.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you start to, especially if it's an altercation in school, when we was young, you could fight and get out of school. And,
yes.
Nowadays, fights wind up being a lot different.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
We didn't have a phone. You can get your butt whooped. When we was young, and you just got your butt whooped. They had to talk about it. They had to reenact it. Like, now you hit him like, boom. And then he uppercut him. And then Tyrone grabbed him and put him in the headlock.
This is what he did, mama.
Right? Now they beat you up and take a picture by you.
Oh, my
Right?
goodness.
And so it's a bit different. Nobody wants to get whooped anymore.
Yeah.
People don't want to go home on Facebook.
Yeah, that's it.
So I think that's totally different. So in that instance, did it make you feel I think maybe it's a bad word to use, but inadequate in that area? Like, did it make you feel like you wanted to, you wish you had the help? Like, how did that make you feel?
I would say,
Want to take it away from them?
yeah. I think that's with any mom with their kid, but I didn't feel inadequate. I felt helpless.
Okay.
Is what
That's
I
a better
felt.
word,
I felt. Yeah, I felt
Because you
helpless.
couldn't get to him the way you thought you could. Okay.
Yeah. But even in that moment, I still knew that it was out of my reach.
Right.
You know what I mean? I understood that. I recognized
It's
it.
transparent.
Yeah, it was out of my reach, and I knew that he needed, in the heat of all of that, he needed to hear his dad voice.
Yeah.
So I heard both of you say, you have communication with your son's dads, right?
Ours a little bit different, though.
Mine's, no.
I mean, so like your kids can call their dad, right?
Yes.
So in a moment or something issue arises, what do you do, or what do you think you should do when you cannot contact the dad, or the child cannot reach the dad?
Oh God, forgive me. Okay. In all transparency, I don't talk to my son's dad as far as like the day-to-day, but if there's urgent matters, I contact him. If he has to go to the emergency room, I contact him. If there's a situation at school that's beyond what I can, resolve, and I feel like he needs, then I can step back and be like, I'm reaching out to your dad.
That's good.
Yeah. But
what if you can't get him? What if he doesn't want to talk, or what is
he doesn't want to talk. I've gotten that before.
Yeah.
And
so what do you do? I mean,
you just move on.
I think I'm in
There's nothing really you can do.
I'm in a different place, but I've definitely been in your shoes where it's like, hey, the father of my child is there, and I need you to be there, and I need you present in a moment, and he's choosing not to. I would say, I think the difference is when he's choosing not to, I've surrounded myself around my son around people like 100 strong to be able to help benefit, to add guidance to that. At that point in time when I was single, because I realized the importance of having grandpa there, uncle, aunt, and cousins there to help aid that, because I knew I couldn't teach and be there for my son the way I needed to be. Something so simple as trying to get him to use the restroom. I was sitting there, girl, I done watched YouTube. I'm up here like, put that thing in the Cheerio. You seen it. Baby, here you go. Here, I got him sitting on the toilet stool like I had this in my mind.
I use Fruit Loops.
Fruit Loops. Okay, Fruit Loops was a thing. PP in the Cheerio.
Okay. That's
I
how
had
you
it
do
in, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I had it worked out in my mind how I was going to be the father and the mother in some aspects, but I realized I couldn't. And I sent my son over to my dad's house. I was like, Dad, I'm struggling with this piece. I know you can help me out. The next weekend, he was using the restroom. You talking about somebody was mad? He said, Mom, I got to show you something. I said, what, babe? Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. I was like, so it just took you a week to be down there with your dad? And that's where it clicked how important it is to have a man in a household. Right. So I realized at that point in time, I couldn't have the man who I thought I was going to be the father of my sons and be there and be present in a moment. I realized I had to use the people that I could around me to help aid with that. And it sounds crazy, but it took a village to be able to do so. It wasn't until I realized that I had my husband in my life to truly aid me with that I knew what it was like to truly have somebody to have where I couldn't reach my son, to be able to say, hey, babe, I see some changes in my son. Our son, hold on. I see some changes in our son because even though he's not his biological father, that's his dad, and you can't take that away. It's the difference between being a father figure and a father.
Yes, totally different.
And when I realized what that looked like from having my husband in life, and when I'm having a difficult time reaching, I know he can sit down and have that conversation. Boy, what's going on? Let's talk to it.
And by your husband being there, do you see it like more so of a balance there?
Oh, yeah, it's a balance because there's times on my son, he catch these little attitudes like, babe, can you talk to your son?
Yeah.
And he's like, and my husband comes back and say, okay, let me tell you what he's thinking. This is what he's going through. He got a little girl at school. He like it.
Right.
That's normally what it is, right?
Yeah.
Because he don't want to talk to mom about he got a girl. He's more embarrassed by him, right? Because he like, mom gonna say this, right?
Yeah.
So him having that conversation with my son, our son, helps me to age that better understand my son, understand his thought process, the things that he's going through. There's times where he don't want to open up. He's like, Mom, it's rising. I'm like, okay, what's rising? Yeah. We talking about birds and the bees, what that look like. I done told my son, when a thing raise up, run, right? My husband's like, why would you tell him that?
Yeah.
Let's talk about it. I had this birds and the bees. I probably should have said that, but I had it all worked up in my mind. But there's something about what a man, how he connect and how he explains it is different. Well, how we explain it is probably like y'all was like, well, did she just say that?
Like, you going too deep.
I did. You going too deep.
Yeah.
Because
I'm like,
we dig deep into it. We psychologicals. Like let's break it down. Let's talk about it. Build it in pieces. Let's build out.
Yeah, but I think
it's
also,
right there, the surface level.
Yeah, I think also when you talked about the thought process, men or boys are like black and white.
Yes.
It's either this or that. And when girls and women,
We gotta break it down.
You gotta go all the way around
the bush. Get straight to the point.
So I think that is the difference between talking to your son and talking to your daughter.
Yes.
Because I've learned that, both of my sons are, 27 and 30. And I have to treat them differently. My oldest son, he's a straight shooter. He's, self-driven, self-starter. He got it. My middle son, he's like me. He's sensitive. I gotta watch my words. I gotta, still, it's okay, Trey. Let's get it. Let's get it. I have to be mindful of that and just be patient. And like, I can't expect him to be like this son because he is like himself. And both of them were, raised by me. And being just from a woman, they have that. One son took it. And he got it. The other son, not saying nothing bad, but they're wired differently. So I have to cater to him more. And he's like at my hip all the time. Where my other son, I don't even talk to him for like 2 weeks at a time. And with my other son, every day I get a text. Hey, Mom, I love you. Just want to let you know I love you the most. My other son, hey, Mom, how you doing? All right, love you, bye.
Yeah.
That's it.
So that's interesting because as you guys were having this conversation about men, you forgot I am sitting here.
Oh, my bad. My bad.
Yeah, I am.
We got you, CC.
One, we are not monolithic. So all men aren't surface. I happen to talk too much. And I happen to go in depth and over-explain. Now, my oldest son, he was more surface with his emotions.
Okay.
Right? He was more surface. But if you talk to him now, he's more like me now, right? He's more in depth and overthinking and detail. So I think, you go through stages too, right? And you got to also remember the child is also dealing with something too.
Yeah.
Because he's dealing with the split up.
Yep.
Yes.
And so it takes him a while might take him a while to, to feel comfortable with a new man in the house, right? Especially if you may be over him, the man, but that doesn't mean that the child has dealt with it yet, right?
That's
that's another point to take. But I think I was thinking when you were talking, and I was going to ask you, what would you say to the child's father if he was listening right now, and he could, listening, not like listening, like I wonder what they're talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, like listening to you. Like if he said, you know what, I want to know how I could be a better father. Like, what would you, if you could talk to him and you knew he was going to hear you, what would you say to him?
I would say time. Time is of the essence. So with that being said, a phone call here and there. So simple. A check-in. How are you doing? A simple good morning, good night, I love you. I think that changes the dynamic of whether or not your child knows that you're there or not. A lot of the times people think that you have to buy them the world. But see, when those toys, you outgrow those toys,
right,
there's something that's still missing, and that's the time that they can remember the things that you've done, the morning, good mornings, or I loved yous, or how you doing son today, or the time that you took them out there and then played football out. It becomes a staple because that's things that they remember. Kids can remember things that happened to them when they're 2 and 3 because of the time it was an experience that they just won't forget. So create experiences and take the time, even if it's just a simple call once a week, to be able to make sure your son know that you love him. Right. And you care.
Instead
and you're
of
going to be there.
From you.
Yeah.
That's good.
I think for me, because my son, he does communicate with his dad. I think for me, I would say if he's listening, I would say be physically present. I'm grateful that, he does communicate verbally, that he acknowledges and support him in other ways.
That's
but
good.
I would say be physically present, and you don't need my permission to do that. You have my blessing and my support to be here physically. And physically to me is come to his football games, schedule time in the summer where, you all are seeing each other face to face. He's a senior coming this year. And
it's a difference.
Yeah, it's a difference. And we haven't been in each other's presence. And I think that is the reason why he's not physically present, in the fear of running into me.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? So I would say be present. Be physically present.
I like that. So, and so one of the things that both of you said is, I didn't hear anything about I need something from you.
Nothing.
Right?
At all.
Like literally, like it was nothing like I really need you to support this, or you're really just asking for the time. Yeah. And on our last episode, I told a story about how on Christmas time, I was broke, completely broke. And a friend of mine said, come on over. I'm going to introduce you to somebody, and introduced me to someone that was in charge of Toys for Tots. And so they took me to Toys for Tots. They gave me a big Santa Claus bag full of stuff. I come back with Tamir. I open up the bag of stuff, and all he wants to do is play church. Mm-hmm. And so, and I just start crying. And he was like, man, why are you crying, Dad? And I was like, I'm just happy, right? Mm-hmm. But in reality, I was part of it was like shame, but most of it was really the overwhelming understanding that he didn't care
about nothing.
Like, man, this is what love really feels like. Like this person really loves me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right?
Unconditionally.
Like unconditionally. He didn't want anything back. He just wanted me to play with him.
He gave you a life lesson.
Yeah.
That's a life lesson, yeah.
It's so funny that you said that because I used to go all out with my son. He'd go with the Power Wheels. He'd had the police car. And you know what he played with every Christmas? Hot Wheel cars.
Yeah.
Those 99-cent Hot Wheel cars. Oh, I done went here and spent
all that money,
mad.
yes.
And my dad would come in with 25 Hot Wheel cars. He can remember each one he had. He can tell you which one he wanted. He would tell you how he wanted them lined up. And that's when I realized it's not about the money that you give them. It's about the time. And truly kids are so grateful for the small things. It's just us that put that added pressure on us to make sure we provide because of the things that we didn't have when we were a kid.
And I think also because we don't ask, because we're the
do not
parents, we
ask.
think we know what they want or what they need.
Because it was passed down to
Yes.
us.
Instead of just sitting, having a heart-to-heart conversation with your child, just let them just funnel out what their thoughts are. You'd probably be surprised.
I know 1 year I went through that same thing. I bought so much stuff, and I'm telling you, I cried because the bills is gonna be due like a few weeks later on the 1st of January.
Yeah, we've been there.
And my son, you could not peel. He had this Spider-Man costume. It was an actual costume for Halloween, but he wore it as a pajama. He wore it everywhere around the house. He didn't even want to go to the grocery store without. You have to peel it off. It had gotten so torn up. It was holes everywhere. And we had to go out and buy him another one. Out of all the things he could have played with, all the toys he could have played with, he was just focused on that Spider-Man. So I learned, I'm like, you know what? The next year, I'm going to ask them what they want. Make a list.
Yeah.
You tell me what you want. And then I was running into problems where his dad would get some of the same things that I got. And then my mom would get some of the same things that we both got. So I'm like,
Yeah, we've done it before.
Yeah.
People get gifts, same thing.
yeah. So I find myself rewrapping gifts. It's okay,
And it doesn't
son.
matter. They don't even-
Next Christmas,
Yeah, it's about
it doesn't
time.
matter. Yeah,
It's
it's
about
about
time.
time. Yep.
Yeah, because people remember how you made them feel, and so do your kids. And so,
Yes.
we talk about, fatherhood. It's really about implanting who you are into someone that you're not, but you're in charge of.
Yep.
It's really just accepting the responsibility that you can help this child get molded into anything that child is supposed to become.
Yes.
The essence of a child is, God saying, I wonder what I can become.
That's
Yes.
it. Walking into your purpose.
Right. And so it's your job to guide, guide that being.
Yeah.
But we don't always do the best job of that. But we still got to show up.
Still got to show up.
And so I think, studies show that even the worst father being present is better than no father.
No father at all.
Yes.
That's just, aside from probably like a father that's really massively just, dysfunctional,
Yeah.
hurting the kid or something like
Yeah.
that. But just generally speaking, who someone would say is an absent father, just him coming into that child's life literally changes the tide on that
Yes.
child's situation,
It does.
And then some children do great in school, but maybe mentally they're not doing good.
Yeah.
Some
Yeah.
people do great in school, but maybe they would have done better at sports if their dad was around. You see what I'm saying? So there's so many different dynamics, I think, that we just don't take into account.
Definitely.
That's why we're here today.
Yeah.
That's why we're on Dad on Fire, talking about this, because I think it's good for people to understand how you feel. Because there's someone out there right now that is going to see this. I'm going to make sure of that.
Yes.
That's going to see this. That's going to say, man, I feel the same way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So
Definitely.
let's talk about, while we still have a few more minutes, let's talk about how can, right. That's us. Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. You must have something to say about that.
Oh, I want to know what the art of co-parenting, what that looks like. What do you think that would be if that was laid out for your kids, for you, your kid, and the father?
Oh,
Perfect world. What does
in
that
a
look
perfect
like?
world.
Yeah.
Oh, my best co-parenting friend. My best friend when it comes to our child. I can say me and my daughter that has really great co-parenting relationship. And for my son, same thing, if not even better. Bring your wife. Bring your extended family. It's, inviting the whole relationship, whether it's his dad is married in a relationship and has, an extended family, you all come to his events.
Yeah.
We should be mature enough to invite them in that space because your kids are in their space when they're not around you.
Yeah.
We all play a part in that role, in that upbringing. and that molding and that shaping, that mentoring and developing our sons. And I want to know, not just to be nosy of who this person's in a relationship with, but I want to have some insight on how this woman parent, you know. Maybe I can communicate with her more. Right. You know, this is what Keem likes to eat. This is what he doesn't like to eat. You know, this is how you kind of have to trick him into eating this versus, you know, that. This is how he communicates. He's nonverbal a lot of times, but if you pay attention to his body language, it's screaming exactly what he's feeling.
Just
you know,
building that rapport, because where she has a weakness, you have a strength.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
vice versa. And all it's doing is just it's just being a pillar on both sides for the child.
At the end of the day, that's what it's about.
It's not for, you know, look what I did, you know.
Right.
It's just for the sake of the child. And whatever that may look like, let's get it done.
Let's get it done.
In some ways, it could be, you know, an actual bonus. You know, like that's what they call it, bonus mom and bonus dad.
I was going to say,
you know, because now you got 4 people that's actually you're able to come to for help. That's going to try to help you get into school. Trying to help you get through school. That's going to come and get you if you need a ride.
Pick up the slack for each
it's
other.
going to pick up the slack. Like most people have one. You know, some people have none. This, you know, most people have one. But man, you might have 4. You know, so some ways I think that could be a great thing. That's why I'm glad you brought that up.
It is a great thing.
You know, co-parenting is so important. You know, because a lot of times when you get in that separate family relationship, in the start it's kind of antagonistic, where it's like, you know, you're not on the same page. You know, that happens a lot where, you know, mom and bonus mom don't get along for no reason at all, other than the fact that, you know, they have this man in the middle. Right? And so I think that, and same thing with dad and stepdad or whatever don't get along because of the fact that, you know, they feeling like they're trying to take each other out.
They're trying to outdo each other.
Right? You know, but I read a book, shout out to City First, that my church had talked about in one of their groups, and it was called Parenting Beyond Your Capacity. And the book changed my life because people ask me all the time, like, man, Tamir is great. What did you do with Tamir? I'm like, I'm telling the truth. What I actually did was I read a book called Parenting Beyond Your Capacity. And the book talks about how everything, I'm going to paraphrase, but everything, and you don't have everything inside of you for someone that's not you, right? They're part of you, but they're also part of your great-great-grandfather, grandmother, and all these other people before them. So what's in you might not be in a culmination of what's in that child, like not everything, right? So you're trying to guide him towards being more like you, when in reality, he might be more like TC or more like Nikki. Or so there's all these people, if you put yourself around in a village that you can help, that can help with this child. So I took him to Jason Warner, and he did his first video at Yakko Tees. I took him to Durian Bogan, who helped him learn how to do video. And then they together did a video for Mayor McNamara. And so now Mayor McNamara is now, you see what I'm saying? So all these different people. And then, you know, he got in tune with Maurice West. You see what I'm saying? So we have all these different, Maurice West is second, you know. And so you have all these different people who are in his community, right? So now I don't have to feel the pressure of areas that I see in him to start suppressing that area because I don't have it in me.
Right.
Right. So I'm not a quarterback. So now, you know what, you should play basketball.
Because I'm good at that.
Because I'm good at that. So you're good at that too. You know, and I never forget the story when you watch Pursuit of Happiness.
Yes.
And he was like, he was trying to, I forget what he was trying to do. But then he said his son, he's playing for basketball. And he can't play. And as tall as he was in that movie, the guy, Chris, must not been able to play basketball. So he tells his son, like, basically, like, you know what, you can't do that. Just stop. It's not going to happen for you. This is not going to happen for you. It's a dream. And then he had to come back and he was like, don't let anybody ever tell you that you can't do something. And so that really touched me because I thought about that. I'm like, man, how do we start as men and as fathers, how do we really start to allow our children, especially our young boys, how do we allow them to become something different? Oh my God.
This hits deep, and it's so funny.
It really is deep.
That you said that because when my son was in 6th grade, he played football. Like, he was cold with it. Like, you see my son, he's 13 years old. He's 6'2", big boy. When I tell you size 13, but at that time when he was in 6th grade, he was probably the biggest kid that's out there. So he's playing offensive, defensive tackle, going crazy. When they see out there, parents are up there mad at me because my son tackling them, right? And I was like, man, I'm going to make some money. We're going to send you down, wherever we need to go, Ole Miss, whatever. We're going to send you to Boiler. We're going to make this money. We're going to be good. And then when my son got to 7th grade, he said, Mom, I don't want to play football anymore. Now, that was Daddy's dream and Mama's dream, right? But Dad was like, I just sat there and played ball, these cleats and everything else for him. And now he don't want to play. And we sat down as a family. What is it that you want to do? I want to try drums. I was like, here I go.
Listening.
You want to do drums? Like, but then I'm sitting here saying, is he following my dreams? Because I'm in music. He was like, no, Mom. I want to learn how to play drums, right? I'm like, son, are you sure? Because I can get this money playing the football, right? And that's when I realized that his gift was listening ear, because when I would go to the studio, he was always listening. He can hear everything. This boy plays 6 instruments right now, and he truly has a passion for music. And I said, so what do you want to do? And he said, Mom, I was thinking about playing football, but I think I'm going to stay in the band. I said, well, just be the best that you can be at it, right? Yep. So now he got all these drums and acoustic. I'm like, can you get those electric ones so I don't hear it so much? But the beauty of it is realizing that, and when you said that, sometimes we have a vision for our kids, but they have a vision for themselves, and allowing them to be creative. And truly, me and my husband sitting down, like, having these conversations. I'm like, let's go. And my son's like, that's not what I want to do. Let them do it. Let them be creative. Let them be them. And that's what makes them uniquely them. And if he says today or tomorrow, I want to play golf, baby, play golf.
Right.
Because then I know for a fact that you're doing what you truly want to do and love. Now, mind you, say you want to do something else that's crazy, that is out the wall, I'm going to ask you why. But even then, I'll be, what's your hopes and plans? What's your dream from it?
If you keep them back from what they're going to do, they're going to be resentful.
They're going to be resentful. You never let me do this. And I would say, let me do this, is because sometimes we want to suppress a child because we have never dove into those areas. So a lot of times we're like, okay, nobody will ever do that. Well, maybe that could be my next Barack. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because of the fact that we haven't had anybody in our family to actually exude those things. Baby, just be you.
But now watch this. So you said the next Barack. So one of my favorite things is, what if, as a man, right, you're, say for instance, you could have been there 3 days a week, but you chose to be there every other weekend. What if the court gave you every other weekend, but you could have stopped by and hung out with them on Wednesday night anyway. So if that's the case, I guess what I'm saying is, what if your son was the next Barack and you didn't know it? Like, I always think about that with Tamir. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we talk about, some people, whatever the stance is, for instance, on abortion, right? But there's so many, I think, dreams that get aborted in children after birth. You understand what I'm saying? Where you the key.
Yes.
Like, I could have left. I could have, I was headed to Atlanta. Man, I was in my prime. Like, I had peaked at like 22. I was doing it. I thought I was gone.
I saw you in your suit.
Yeah, man. You ready. No joke, man. So I was like, man, I was at a peak. And then, for whatever reason, I met someone, and we decided that, we was gonna have relations, and that relationship that we started wound up eventually turned into a child. And so now I had to say, okay, I had to make a decision. Am I going to leave and go to Atlanta, which I was heading to go take this new job like you was talking about, and have that long distance relationship, or do I stay? And I was like, man, the best thing for me at the time was to leave. But the best thing for my child was to stay. And so I had to sacrifice that. I knew I was like, I know it's going to end. I know it says I'm in Rockford now. I know it's going to end. I'm going to have to go find another job eventually. I'm going to have to, you know what I mean? I was like, I had a big job waiting on me now, and I have to take the different road.
Yeah.
But when I did that, I think that I think that God started to prop me up. I started to see doors open up that
Yes.
necessarily, even to this day, just continues to happen. And the point I'm trying to make is that if I had known that Tamir was the Tamir now, and I made that other decision, who was to say he didn't turn out totally different?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like now looking at him, I'm like, man, I'm so glad I stayed to see this.
Yeah.
When you
know
made
what I
that
mean?
decision to stay or to leave, did you have any resentment towards his mom?
No, the resentment towards his mom, I think, came from within me first because I had always seen myself in a relationship where I was married and I did the right. In my life, I made all the right decisions, right? So I think part of any resentment I would have had towards her was because of the bad decisions that I made.
So you was taking
know what I'm saying?
accountability.
Now I am, right? So
Okay.
who knows what accountability I took then, right? but what I'm saying is that any resentment that was given indirectly was definitely because of the mistake that I made,
It
right?
was a mistake, but yeah.
Well, yeah, right. Yeah, there are
Yeah.
no mistakes, but the
Just
decisions
a
that I
choice.
made,
Yeah.
right? The decisions that I made.
Yeah.
And so I think that in your mind you got this perfect world, when you get in a relationship. 'Cause
You
everybody
do. You
get in a
do.
relationship because you
Yeah.
like the person.
Yeah.
No matter what
Yeah.
happened,
Yeah.
you actually like that person.
Yes, absolutely.
You might have even loved them, right?
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
probably
Right.
got that creed on.
Come on
and
now.
like
Yes, period.
Smelling good.
Yeah.
Ferragamo.
Yes. All
I
of
like to
that.
just keep it real.
Yes.
I told my wife, like, you
Yes.
still love me. Don't try to act like you don't love me. You still love me. But
Yes.
life be lifing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you got to take life on life's terms. And so, I made a decision to stay, and it was the best decision I ever made in my life.
Can I ask you a question? When did it click with you that I have to be a better father or be a father? Like, I know that sounds crazy. That sounds great. Crazy because oftentimes, like men, we expect them to be a father just like we expect women to be a father off jump. But as you grow older, you're like, okay, dang, I'm really a dad. I got to step it up, right? Because I'll be honest with you, when I first became a mom, I thought it was a whole book that was out there that was going to teach me how to be the world perfect mom, but there isn't. And then when I realized, and it sounds crazy, you would think that once I give birth that I'm a mom, but my mom didn't know how to be a mom, nor did my grandma know how to be a mom. So I just knew I was going to figure this thing out. But then I realized being a mom was totally different than what I assumed it to be.
Oh, absolutely.
So then, like from a man's perspective, like even being a father, yeah, you knew you was a father, but then you realize there's some responsibilities that go with being a father. Did it click for you at a young age, or did it click for you as you got older?
I think it's hard to give what you have never received.
Right.
Yeah.
And so for me, I was lucky because I grew up, my dad was born in 1921. So I grew up with older parents. So my parents, my dad would be 105 years old in November, right? So if he was still alive. And so the picture of fatherhood for me was someone that grew up in a time that was literally like you sacrifice your body for your family.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like this is your job.
Yes.
So I watched a man that was selfless. And so he knew I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to raise my kids. And we grew up in New York. I grew up in the projects. And so he raised us. He went to work every day. He was an alpha male. You know what I mean? He just did what he needed to do for his family, and then he saved up money, and then he bought a house.
Old school.
Yeah, he's old school.
Yeah.
That was how they was. They was like trained. It was the good generation.
Program. Yeah.
Right?
Foundation.
He knew what he was supposed
Yes.
to do. Mama knew what she was
Yeah,
supposed
it was
to
just
do.
they had
Wasn't no blurry
roles.
lines.
It was
Yeah.
no blurred lines,
Yeah.
and until he died when I was 12.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I was able to give my son, and that's why I stayed, because I watched someone
Yeah.
that that stayed.
And you was conditioned, right?
Yeah.
Even though it was a short window.
That's
Right.
a foundation that
still,
was there.
Yeah.
So what I saw, I gave. But when he turned 12, I didn't know how that was supposed to look. So now I'm trying to figure it out. And that's when I came across that book. And so it is a book out there for everybody, right? And you know, you think it's not. It's
It
it
is.
You know what I mean?
I know what you meant by
so,
that.
you know, of course there's books out there now. You got YouTube now. We can figure out
right. We
everything
can
on
figure
thing
something
now.
out.
But, you know, just I think everybody's experiences are different, right? So experiences, just the race is different, just the religions are different. So there's no textbooks that's that's perfect for you. Of course, there's things that you can put together and then make it whole after you've read about 3 or 4 books. You know, program them together and like, boom, this is it. But just life in general.
Oh, I know what I was going to say. So I learned how to be a father because I had to go backwards. And so that is what I feel like from a fatherhood perspective in general. I said in the beginning, object in motion tends to stay in motion. So when I went backwards to see what that looks like, I actually had a good depiction of it.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So
Yes.
you can't give someone what you never saw.
Yeah.
And so sometimes, remember we was talking about
Reflect,
this right in the
yeah.
beginning. It's like,
I remember
you said,
my
my
dad.
mom, you know, my mom, you just said it again, my grandmother. So when I got here, you know, if you're doing what you're saying you're doing, then you're breaking a chain.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You know what I'm saying? You know, so if they didn't, you didn't, that doesn't mean that you don't have to. You know what I mean? And that's what I want the fathers out here to hear right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I get it. Like I know what it feels like
Yeah.
to not have nothing and to have nothing to give, like financially or even physically, right?
Yeah.
But to then in turn still have to go and be responsible.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. I
definitely.
I know what it's like to bring my kids in the house and literally have it infested with just vermin and still have to bunch up in the corner because we got to survive.
Yeah.
Right. So Tamir knows what it feels like to go through
Yeah.
and watch me build
Watch
it
you
back
build-
up.
There you
Yeah.
go.
You understand what I'm saying? To have it all torn
Yes,
down and then say,
yes.
you know what, I'm gonna bring it back though.
Yeah.
So when your kids see stuff like that, you know what I mean? That now he has a depiction and knows what I expect, right?
Yeah.
Like what I expect out of him as a man. So it's a depiction of what that looks like. I am the living depiction. I had a father that was gone. I had a deceased depiction. He saw a living depiction of that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we got to understand as men, the point of this conversation is that we have to understand as men that it is imperative. I gotta say it again. It is imperative that we take accountability and responsibility for our children. Period and point blank.
Point blank.
Boys and
Point blank.
girls.
Period.
There you go.
As men, we have to take accountability and responsibility. If you don't know what that looks like, that's what Fatherhood United is here for, to help you connect to whatever that is for you. Everybody looks different. If you spending a day, let's try to spend a day and a half. You spending a week, let's try to get you a week and a half.
Yes.
You spending it's nothing that's going to satisfy that child until you do the
Physically,
maximum
yes.
amount
present.
that you can do, because that looks different in different
Yes.
stages. And so the women that are here today in front of us are strong women
Yeah.
that are here today, man. I applaud y'all for what you do.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
like, you know, people, when we talk about, you know, motherhood and are you the dad and the mom? I know you're not the dad and the mom, and I appreciate you saying that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you're here today not because you want to talk down on what happened to you.
Oh no, not at all.
I think that at the end of the day, the things that we experience either made us stronger as women to be able to provide. I think that's why I'm so big on helping out my community, because I wanted people to understand that it's not what you've been. I'm not going to say what you've been through, because what you've been through has helped help you navigate life, has helped us navigate through life. But there's always somebody that's out there that has experienced the same thing, just doesn't know where to go, how to respond to it. So being able to give your testimony somehow will help somebody understand that we don't have to have a victim mentality. What we have to have is a survivor mentality, that I've been through this, but here's where I'm headed. And I think that's the beauty of podcasts or platform like this, that's going to allow us to understand that we have people that look like us, that walk like us, that talk like us, and they've been able to overcome it. Not saying that our life is perfect, not saying that we're going to have struggles, but we've been able to help. We've been able to overcome some of the struggles that you've been through. So utilize us as a resource.
And I know for me, I can definitely speak to other single mothers who can help take a little bit more accountability to open that door for fathers to come in.
Yeah.
You know, even if, like you said, if it's one day, allow him to be consistent with that one day. And you'd be surprised. You know, it's just kind of like having a project and you just working on it little by little by little by little. And you just look up and you realize just how much have gotten accomplished. Well, it's the same thing. Allow that relationship to develop, to, you know, to flourish, but you have to foster it by allowing him to come in, trusting, even though you may not not want to, but just be disciplined as a woman. Hold those feelings back, no matter what you feeling, how you feeling, just and trust the process. That one day can become 2 days, 3 days, and you look up, you know, son or daughter won't need to go to grandma's house. Grandma tired.
Yep.
Right.
You know, auntie tired. Let dad come in and be dad and take a load off you, because you can't do it by yourself. You shouldn't want to do it by yourself. It's hard. It's doable, but it's hard when you can have a partnership, and you never know. Sometimes kids bring healing to parents too. You know, so that would be my number one advice. I would talk to women, and I would give men a safe space to come in and say, hey, you know what? I don't care if you got 50 cents in your pocket. You don't even got to spend your 50 cents. Keep it for yourself, but come sit down with your son.
Right.
And I think also
You know.
it's just pouring into the
Yes.
pouring into the dad.
Yes.
If they don't have a lot of money, if they don't have, you know, the best of everything, still applaud them for, I appreciate you coming over today.
Yes.
I appreciate you taking them to the game. I appreciate
Yes.
you doing X, Y, Z. And then that starts to like, oh, maybe she, you
Yeah.
know, maybe she ain't so mad. You might be, but you don't have to display it. And then that starts to build what they call the co-parenting relationship.
Yes.
And then it starts to get a little bit easier
A little bit
every
easier.
little time,
Yeah.
For
step
everyone.
by step
And
by
tell
step.
that man you don't have the money either sometimes.
Right.
You broke too.
Right.
Right. And I
They
said
didn't
this,
get no Christmas this year.
no, and I said this last time. My daughter, me and her dad has to me the best co-parenting relationship. Not my daughter is 17. We've never ever, and I mean never, had an argument. I can call him. I said, you know, she needs, you know, her braces or whatever. Oh, okay, all right. When does it due? All right. And I'm so grateful for that, because not only do I have that relationship with him, his girlfriend, it's the
Yes.
same.
Yeah.
We work together. When it's time for her, a birthday party, whatever, all three of us is working,
In the
all of
house.
us, you know, pitching in. And, you know, he goes a little bit over the top, like, I'm going to get her a pony or whatever. No. but he wants to be the best dad
Yes,
possible and sets the
yes.
bar so high for her. And I appreciate that, because he goes above and beyond on purpose.
Yes.
And I can't stress it enough how much it helps to have or build a co-parent relationship, despite what your relationship was or what it looked like or what
Yes.
happened. Having a co-parenting relationship, to me, is the most peaceful thing ever.
Period.
And it does
Yeah.
not get any better than this. And
Period.
sometimes he may have it, sometimes he don't. And when he don't have it, I'm like, what? Why you don't? But I don't. I'm like, okay, well, maybe I
Right.
could try.
That's good.
Or he'll say, well, what can we do together?
Yes.
And it's never like a secret. His girlfriend always
Yes.
knows.
That's what I'm talking about. Yes.
Yes.
Involving
That's
her,
good.
bringing
Yeah.
her in. Yes.
Yeah.
That's real good.
That's
And
good.
so, like, in a result of that, my daughter, she's so happy. She's herself. She, you know, she's full of life.
Yeah.
And like when she's a senior, and she's like, Mom, I don't want to go to school, but my dad said maybe. I was like, well, let's see what he says. And she's like, well, I want to go to the military. And then he's like, well, I'm gonna be right there then if you're gonna go to the military.
Period.
And so I'm like,
That is
okay,
right there.
fine. But we just all just agree to disagree.
Yes.
And we are on this level playing field, literally for the past 70 years from the day she was born. And it's just, I can't stress enough how much I want to share with other women that when you develop a co-parent relationship with the dad, it may take a little bit, but it's going to be worth it.
Yeah.
What'd you say? It's a whole load off.
Oh my goodness.
Look, when I did Nunu birthday party, one of the kids was like, she a whole vibe. We were like a whole vibe.
She is.
This
and
is
her
good.
dad makes sure that, and that's what I appreciate about it. You know, he
Mm-hmm.
has other kids that she's the baby, and they whatever her dad tells them to do. Nunu got it, but that he wants to make sure that if she ever dates or whatever, the bar is set so high,
Yes.
That's good.
she don't have to worry about anything. So yeah.
So that's good. So I heard you say what I would tell to women earlier. You were explaining that.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna invite you to actually do that. So one of the things that we do at FatherHood United is we actually have a support group. And so we're starting a support group for women called Understanding Dad.
Yeah.
And so we want women who have an open mind that want to learn how to communicate better with the separate family relationship father, or want to learn how to increase financial responsibility. Because the number one way to do that is ding, ding, ding. Guess what? Give them more time.
That's it.
It's correlated, like they did a study. And so the more time that you give to the father with the child, the more he pays in financial responsibility.
Yes.
It's a direct correlation.
Yes.
That's a cheat code if you guys are listening. So what I'm saying to you is that there is a way you can tell that to women, because we need more people to get involved with that. Women like yourselves that see, that have lived it, but that also see it from an optimistic point of view, right? Like you may even be almost past it now, but you're like, you know what? I can help someone that just started.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You might
Yeah.
be 10 years in and you have something to teach to someone that's just started.
Yeah.
But this one thing is how you curb everything else. It's how you
Yes.
raise test scores.
Yeah.
So
All
you
of
curb
that.
obesity rates. It's how you crime.
Teen pregnancy.
Teen pregnancy. There's so many different
Yes.
things that correlate to
Yep.
fatherhood absence.
Yes.
Like the one thing that domestic violence
Yes.
correlates with is absence of fatherhood,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
Or having domestic violence in the house prior.
Yeah.
So those two things are the only correlation to domestic violence. So if you want to stop domestic violence, fatherhood engagement. You want to stop, you want to bring up the test scores of RPS 205, fatherhood engagement.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so this indirectly affects the outcomes of the children, of our children in the community. So definitely want to put a call out right now to anyone that's listening to this. Go to fatherhoodunited.org. Go to the contact form. It's got a volunteer section. Volunteer. If you don't want to volunteer and you need some help, come and join the group. Because, I'm a spoiler alert. We are in the group as well as, like the hair club guy. We in it. I still need help. I still have a 4-year-old at almost 50.
Yes.
Right? So I
Yes.
still need parents and skills, right? I
Yes.
still need, men to admonish me and hold me accountable
Yeah.
to say, brother, you wasn't at the game last week. What happened to you?
Do just a check-in.
So just a mental check-in, like, man, how you doing?
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely.
Right.
I agree.
So we're doing a lot of great things. This has been amazing. Man, I wish I can keep you here longer. This is, like, we could talk about this all day. I love it.
Yeah.
Most likely we probably invite you back again too, because I think that the
Absolutely.
topics change. We'd love to hear your perspective. I know you have your own. Both of you have your own businesses.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. So just before we leave, just tell the world what you do.
So, of course, it's your girl, Tina Renee. I do some of everything from radio personalities to behind the scene investing of women of the 815 and their companies, as well as, of course, I am the soul singer of Rockford, one of those that'll give you an experience that you will not forget. You can find me at Tina Renee Singer on all platforms. As they would say, Google me, and then you can connect. So with that being said, y'all know I am the people's champ. So anything dealing with community, I am there, and I am just super unapologetically me. I am who I am, and you ain't nothing you can do about it. Period.
I love it.
And I am Cherece. I am the owner of True Med Test Mobile Diagnostic, and we do DNA testing. I want to bring that up because of the fatherhood thing.
Yes.
Mobile DNA testing.
Mobile DNA. So we come to you in the comfort of your home or wherever you see fit that you are most comfortable.
Yes.
But if you want to know what tribe you belong to, or if you really want to know who your father is, or who your mother is, or who your grandfather is, or maybe even Uncle Pete, I am your girl at True Med Test. And I think it's important, and it helps to support that relationship and that foundation of building stronger men and stronger fathers, stronger boys, and just having that connection of where you coming from. So TrueMedTest.com is where it's at.
Thank you. Did that joker really just knock on my door?
Yes.
Thank you. That was great.
Yeah.
Thank you. So this is the end of Dad on Fire, second episode.
Yes.
We talked about motherhood.
Yes.
This has been amazing,
Yes.
and I hope that we can definitely have you back again.
Absolutely.
I'm looking forward to inviting you both to the support group
Yes.
to give some of your perspective.
I already
Yes.
invited.
Yes.
So yeah, we definitely need you at the support group. So everyone, if you're listening, fatherhoodunited.org. This is Dad on Fire. Thank you, Tina. Thank you, Cherece.
Thank you.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate
Love
y'all.
All right.
Yes.
All right. That was good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did that joker just knock on my door? Did he just knock on the door?
Who was that?
He just knocked on the door
And open the door.
and opened the door.